We are on our travel ball portion of our Stay Ready campaign at Easton, and we are now live with Kevin Shelton, owner, president of Texas Glory Softball. Been around since 2000, storied program, great program. You're a great friend, good guy, and you run one heck of a softball organization. So we appreciate you coming on today. We appreciate your partnership with Easton. Tell us a little bit about Texas Glory. What are you guys doing right now?
Yeah, well, just like the rest of the country, we're just trying to figure it out. We're coast to coast, and so we've got a bunch of different regions, so that creates uniqueness. We're from Michigan down to Corpus Christi, so right around 100 teams. So we're not a good one-size-fits-all scenario, right? We've got all different requirements and things that are have impact on us. So we're all just trying to, stay ready to play, which is the theme of this. And so people are working at home. The Zoom calls are happening. The workouts across the organization are happening when people want to, hopefully people are reading books. It's great, as you've said in earlier sessions, it's a great time to learn and grow and get better. And I hope that's what our folks are doing, but it's different, right? The older kids don't want to be bothered as much. The younger kids love to stay connected more. So it just depends on, we got to put the right solution in place for the right teams. But I think we've done a fair amount of that across the country.
Yeah, and, we did talk with Jazz earlier, and she didn't talk too much about it, but I know you're an instrumental part of this new Texas Fast Pitch League that's going on right now, and I think you should spend a little time talking about that. Like, dude, staying ready, like, this is staying ready and moving. Like, it's moving parts. You're trying to make it to where they can play.
Yeah, we've actually been very proactive, as well as just staying very positive and assuming we're going to get a chance to play. So we're going till they tell us no. So the TFL was an outgrowth of a couple different things, but Scott Smith and I connected weeks ago, and we both were like, man, we got these same issues with our families, with jobs, with and then oil goes in the tank in Texas, which is a huge impact, and you cannot underestimate the impact of oil going to nothing. Right, so lots of people have lost jobs, those kinds of things. So we said, okay, everything is unknown. At that point, everything was up in the air, and we said, what can we do to help our families get some level of consistency and normalcy, and eliminate some of the angst, right? Because everyone's worried about their hotel rooms in Colorado and everywhere else, flying, all those places. What can we do to help do that? Help ease their burden? And we realized pretty quickly the best plan for us was just stay local, right? Drive places, because then you can recover. If you're far from home and something goes wrong, no one has the answers, and so that means don't do that, right? So that's kind of how we came to that conclusion. So we said, well, if we can kind of guide and lead the state down this path, then we can create an environment where people can feel a little better about what's coming up in the future, which was the thing that's causing the most concern, right? Everything is uncertain. How do we eliminate some uncertainty? So then as we started to craft what that schedule would look like, the TFL idea came in. We also tried to get with all of our partners like Triple Crown and PGF, tried to get with all of them and explain to them what we were doing, why we were doing it, right? And so that we could partner with them, because we need them to stay strong, right? So we're not trying to take money out of their pocket. We're not trying to abandon their tournaments. We're not trying to compete with their tournaments. We just wanted to make sure that we could do something that made sense for us. And, and some of those, Triple Crown has been great. They've been easy to work with, and they've, made some adjustments for us. So it's been fantastic in that regard. Additionally, then the idea came, we realized we couldn't create a situation where only some teams took advantage, right? We needed to create an environment where everyone could play regionally, all teams, all levels, because the Bombers have teams at all levels. So do we. So does Impact. So does Blaze. Everyone does, right?
And all locations in Texas.
And out of Texas, right? Yeah. So we considered that as well. How do we help all of our folks follow the same approach, right? Get busy working on creating and managing a regional plan for your teams, so that that's the path you take, then you're set up and you're ready. Don't try to do it a week ahead of time. It just won't work. So the TFL then was an outgrowth of that. And, it's an opportunity for us to stay connected better, raise the level of play in Texas. Also, Scott talks about a lot. It's a way to eliminate some of the inequities associated in the game, right? There are a lot of teams that when they're up and coming, brand new, just getting started, they want to be on the good fields. They can't get on the good fields because they haven't, done anything on the field yet. And so this will create an opportunity for them to earn their way and get there very quickly. So we think that's fair, and we love the idea that it raises the level of the game. So it's great. It should be awesome. A lot of details still to work out, but we're off to a good start.
Yeah, it's cool. I listened to that whole thing on Facebook Live yesterday. I mean, it's a great opportunity. What do you got? 130 something teams in this thing, and you get to play all the time, and you get to act.
Right.
You get to play.
Yeah, the numbers much higher than that now. So, yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. So, all right. So, talking about Texas Glory again for a second. I've been to plenty of your banquets, and I've listened to your speeches. I think pretty sure you already had coronavirus this year because you were a mess at yours. You couldn't even talk.
That could have been it, right? I don't know.
You might have started the whole thing.
No, I don't think I started it.
No, you definitely didn't. So you've got this thing called the Glory Way that you want your coaches and your teams portrayed in a certain manner, and you want them all to kind of come up in this glory way. Like, how important is that development for your organization and the teams from 10U all the way up to when they get to you to have the right mindset to get to the collegiate level and to be a better person?
Yeah, and I think what you said there last is the most important part, right? What we care about in the end is. Am I back yet?
Too many people like you. They're calling. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So am I back yet? Am I back? So
you're back.
What we care about the most is they end up being a good person, right? I mean, in the end, if we turn out the best softball players in history and they turn out to be turds, we've completely failed, right? That's not the job, right? So we, the three things we say all the time and over is leave it better than you found it, fail full speed, which just means give maximum effort, don't be afraid to fail, and make the routine. That means be someone people can count on. Right. So those things, if you can learn to embrace those and use those in your everyday life, they obviously translate into softball. So we say those things, preach them constantly and we found pretty quickly people who aren't like us and don't want to follow those ideals don't last very long in the organization because they act selfishly. They don't understand team over self. They struggle to put themselves last. The idea of sacrifice is one that's hard for them, and that's not an environment, that works well in ours. Ours is about, servant leadership. If you can embrace that idea, you can be successful in our world. And if our plan is to get everyone who leaves the organization to feel like that and act like that, and we think that can help make the world a little bit better place. Which is our plan.
That's cool. And you definitely, you put together great teams. I love hanging out with the Glory teams. I sit with your parents in the stands, and they're all
scary
good people, and the players are respectful. And they never yell at you.
Yeah, well, I think they think that might have consequences. So,
maybe,
and hey, they yell at me in private. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, what do you tell to your younger coaches right now, the 10U, 12U, 14, 16s? Like, I know you're staying ready and your players are, and they're committed, they're focused. How do you keep that focus with these other players? How do you build that want to get back?
Yeah, it's challenging. I'd be fair. I don't have to build the want to get back. What we're hearing and feeling loud and clear is everyone's ready to get back. So each coach is doing it differently, but these guys, they don't pay attention to Twitter. They don't know I'm on the Instagram Live, so
they don't know. No,
I'll have to be smarter next time to figure this out. But anyway, that every coach is doing it differently again. But the kids, the parents, everyone is chomping at the bit to get busy again. They're ready to go. But each one of them has figured out that communication is key. I've been on a million Zoom calls, around the country, people calling saying, hey, I've got my call today. Can you be on the call? I know every Saturday there's a couple of calls here locally, and I usually bop in or sit through the whole thing on some cases. So just trying to stay connected, and the same thing you've heard from most, and that is communication is key. The more you do that, the better it is. You know, a lack of communication can be tricky, and it can create problems. So you just have to overdo it on the communication end, make sure people understand what you're
Yeah.
thinking and you're doing, you know.
And I like what,
But
what the two predecessors today had to say also, and you've got to keep communicating with the colleges. If you're a player who wants to be
right.
recruited and wants to play at the next level, things are changing on a weekly or daily basis. So, yeah, I mean, you're communicating with coaches, I'm sure, every single day. And how important
Yep.
is all that?
It's really important. I
It's
think
like what?
for us, you know, it's important to know what they're thinking and feeling and understand what they're doing. And our kids, you know, the tricky part, I heard you talking about earlier on recruiting is hard. The danger is that kids and parents think somehow by putting their practice swings or whatever on Twitter or Instagram, they think that is a helpful recruiting tool. I don't believe that at all. I think that's a mistake, but that's just my opinion again. And most, you know, it's very difficult to impress a college coach with a swing off a tee, into a net, and you have much bigger chance of them seeing flaws in your approach. So I don't think that shooting your video and saying, "Hey, look, I'm working real hard," is an effective way to get recruited. It may make you feel good and it may just show your team that you're working, but I don't think that's an effective way to get recruited at all. So I don't encourage our players to do things like that. Right. And again, the other idea that working hard is somehow a separator. Working hard is the ingoing argument. That's not a differentiator, right? If you don't work, you have no chance. Working hard is the baseline. And some by this, I hear my kid deserves it because they work hard. No, everyone's working hard. There's other differentiators, right? So that's important.
That's true.
I think.
EM Candles 05 said that, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, she loved your talk when you came down to TBK. I finished up my college emails and they're using your tips, so that's good.
All right. Look, it's, you never know if you're having a positive impact. It's always helpful to hear that, so you can, re-energizes you, reinvigorates you, just like it does a player when they hear something positive. So.
Totally. And I think that, you do have a lot of influence, Kevin. You coaches, the players listen to you, though. So it's important, Well,
I'll try to make sure I do it right. It's a lot of pressure.
So what else would you say to kids? Kids out there who are, trying to stay ready for when they come back in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2 months, whenever it is. What's a great last kind of tip of advice for them at home?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is stay positive, right? Stay positive. You got to keep a positive outlook, keep you moving forward. Don't let any of these situations keep you down for very long. Don't get frustrated. If you find a way to stay positive, put a smile on your face in a tax situation, right? Things have been a lot tougher for other people than us. We will get through this. I don't have the answers exactly how or when, but staying positive, I think, is the most important thing to being able to get up every day and just win the day. People ask me all kind of questions about, and what to do and this and that. And I tell them, listen, I don't have the answers, but we're going to do the best we can. That's my answer. And if I get up every day just saying, I'm going to win today. And if I can win today, then I just put it again together tomorrow and try to help others do the same, because that's the only choice we really have.
That's awesome. So anyways, EM Candles is on a Texas Glory team from Illinois, so that's really good.
All right, cool.
There you go.
Those trips are worthwhile.
So, hey, I think great advice to everybody out there, players and coaches and just people, from Kevin Shelton right here, is win the day. Wake up with a purpose, have your routine, win the day.
Yep.
Stay safe, stay ready, and it's going to carry you through.
Excellent.
Very cool, Kevin. Hey, we appreciate you coming on, and love having you on Team Easton. Texas Glory means a lot to us over here. So stay ready, man.
It's great to see BK. Love the mustache.